Hey guys, you might have recently seen a video with some unfound accusations of my alleged involvement in the Power matchfixing scandal of 2014. These are being done in extremely bad faith by the same group of drama YouTubers. And I've never had a chance to make a statement because it's about something that happened 10 years ago. But now that these videos have fueled hate and rage towards my reputation and my career, as well as also implicating me in a literal crime, I feel like I have to share my experiences with the community. I made sure to script this video out because I want to be as clear and concise as possible and explain how wrong it is what they're doing. I want to start by saying, in no uncertain terms, I have never been involved with match fixing and I have never thrown a match. These are serious accusations being made with no evidence. These YouTubers are irresponsibly twisting the Power situation to push their narrative. So we'll get down to the details of the scandal, as well as what I knew and experienced. To have a full picture of what occurred, it's important to understand the environment at the time. In the early days of CSGO and skin trading, there was a website called CSGO Lounge that let users trade and wager skins on matches in various leagues and tournaments. This website, which became the main platform for skins, was almost completely unregulated. Because CS skins had and still have translatable monetary value, they became a de facto currency for the game. The scene was young and people didn't really realize how real esports was yet. Because it was so easy to do with skins, betting on matches was really normalized, and it felt like a majority of the fans participated without fully understanding the implications of betting on games. Looking back now, especially given the amateur state of the scene at the time, it is crazy to think about how rampant skin gambling was on CSGO Lounge. On August 21st, 2014, Power, who was set to play netcode guides in a match for the CEVO League, decided to use this match as an opportunity to bet against themselves and throw in order to win skins on CSGO Lounge. The relationship between the two teams was that Daze, the IGL of Power, co-owned netcode guides with his good friend Casey Foster. I knew Casey Foster because I helped him develop his website as a web developer, and I was also sponsored by the website at the time. About 10 minutes before the match went live, Casey told me Power were throwing the game. Throws seemed to be an open secret amongst pros, and they were warning friends who could lose skins on bets. I had already bet on the game for Power to win, and on CSGO Lounge, you couldn't cancel a bet. You could only change the team you picked the bet on. When I was informed of the potential throw, I made the regrettable decision to change my bet. I was young, had a lot to learn, and I admit I didn't want to lose my skins. I now recognize this was inappropriate and it goes against the spirit of fair competition. I was honest and forthcoming about how everything went down when I spoke to Valve's lawyers. And after Valve worked directly with CSGO Lounge and Richard Lewis, the investigative journalist who broke the original story, they found no evidence of my involvement in the fix. My story matched up, and I never received a punishment of any sort. I was never involved with the fix, I've never thrown games, and this is how it happened. Here's a clip of a video from Richard Lewis released the day the Power players were banned.
I had ShahZaM basically saying, I will go on the record and tell you everything, in exchange for not being incriminated, which of course there was nothing to incriminate him into because he wasn't involved.
Now I want to address why my name is entangled in this situation in the first place. The first article regarding the Power scandal was published by Richard Lewis the day after the match, August 22nd, 2014. Within the article were leaked screenshots of me telling a friend that went to my school that the match was fixed. Honestly, I was really immature here. Bragging about it was dumb, and the right thing to do would have been to come forward about it myself in the first place. That said, this conversation alone was not enough evidence, so the throw went unpunished for about 5 months. It was not until Richard Lewis got a series of text convos from the ex-girlfriend of Deborn, who was one of the people implicated in the throw, where Deborn explained how they conspired to throw the game. This was now enough evidence for Richard to do a full investigation and for Valve to step in and personally look into it. When both Richard Lewis and Valve reached out to me, I told them everything I knew in the same way I've now done again. The decision to change my bet was something many people might have done in the moment, but looking back 10 years later, I wish I didn't. Once again, let me be clear. I was fully cooperative of Valve's investigation. I gave them an honest account of my knowledge and actions. I was transparent, and I didn't face a punishment of any kind. Here are the results of their own investigation and the following blog post made by Valve themselves regarding the matter. And finally, the Hiko clip. This is the clip used by the rage baiters the most to try to implicate me in the Power situation.
It's weird to me that ShahZaM would say one thing at 6 months ago, and then all of a sudden he joins Cloud9 and now he gained a conscience. Like, it doesn't make much sense to me. And the fact that he actually messaged me and Jordan, like, he was just me, you can say whatever, but the fact that he messaged Jordan as well, like, I don't think Jordan would lie to you. I'm pretty sure Jordan would tell you the truth that he messaged him too.
To give context, I joined Cloud9 after Hiko had stepped down from Cloud9 to join the Power core. As a team, Hiko and the Abipower guys had signed with the Evil Geniuses organization. This team was never officially announced because they got banned before their debut at MLG X Games Aspen 2015. They were listed under Wicked Masterminds. With their throne game back in August being more in the open, it was honestly a gamble by him. It really sucked for him. He was an innocent party, and his new team got banned and dropped from their new contracts before they even started, and he was left teamless. The clip in question was taken right after his team was announced, banned, and dropped. I don't hold any ill feelings towards Hiko so many years later, but I wish he didn't say that. I'm not 100% sure why he did, and I understand he was in a difficult position, but his statement about me asking to throw a game is entirely false. Jordan, the teammate that Hiko specifically mentioned in the clip, publicly clarified with this tweet on the same day that the Hiko clip was posted to YouTube. Also, here's a clip of Richard Lewis's perspective.
It was no secret in the NA scene that these players had been involved in match fixing. You know, it was out there, and people knew about it. People had talked about it. I think Hiko had a particular issue with ShahZaM, who was one of the players that came into Cloud9 after Hiko went, and he had been very public about how he didn't particularly like him and felt he was potentially involved and embroiled in all of that. Now, what you can read into that what you want, because ShahZaM was actually one of the guys who, you know, for all the things he's done, good or ill, previous, he was one of the guys that came out and did try to bring attention to the match fixing issue. And you could say maybe Hiko was trying to discredit him to kind of draw attention away from this constant speculation about what was going to happen to these players. Were they ever going to get caught? That's one way of looking at it. I don't necessarily subscribe to that myself. I think another way of looking at it is he just didn't like ShahZaM.
I've never sacrificed competitive integrity. I always try to win, whether it's a match or a simple rank game. This situation happened 10 years ago before I joined my first ever pro team. I've worked hard to be a competitor in this space for a long time, and I've been fortunate to be rewarded for that hard work and integrity. I've been given opportunity after opportunity. I was able to win a world championship, and none of my respected peers, competitors, past teammates have ever viewed or accused me as a cheater or a thrower. Nothing I've said here is new information. It's all the same as my statement in Richard Lewis's article from January 16th, 2015. This scandal has re-entered the limelight because of a video titled Valorant's Most Hated Pro by a channel called Timmy Val, which is now renamed to Retake. While covering the Abipower scandal is fine, Timmy maliciously spun the facts to fit a narrative that's focused on defaming my reputation. And for those reasons, I'm going to respond to every accusation and implication he made in that video. Starting with the thumbnail alone, it's a picture of me with the text, "Caught cheating." I'm not going to sit here and say I was one of the best FPS players ever, but to compete professionally for a decade took a lot of effort and hard work. I've been to almost 50 LAN events around the world. To even clickbait cheating is crazy. It's even crazier that nowhere in the video does he even talk about cheating outside of the thumbnail and the video description. The video proceeds to go into the Abipower fixing scandal that I just covered, but he painted in a light where I was complicit and participated in the fixing.
He was trying to rig the matches. ShahZaM was exposed shortly after being dropped from Cloud9 because it was revealed that he was involved in a match-fixing scandal in the Pro League. For those of you that don't understand, basically, match-fixing is when a player would tell somebody the outcome of a game before it happens. And because ShahZaM was playing in the games, he had a huge control over what was going on.
He says, "I was throwing the games that I was playing in," which is a serious accusation to make and entirely not true. He also paints it in a light where this situation is why I struggled to join teams.
ShahZaM's sketchy past, along with this match, is most likely the reason for his all-over-the-place team hopping.
The Abipower match happened 6 months before I joined my first pro team, and I continued to compete on esports teams for the next 10 years. He shows an example of my Liquipedia team history in CSGO to show team hopping, but fails to realize that 5 of those teams listed were the same team, but under different names. The scene was very young and volatile back then. Orgs came and went, and there was no structure like there is now with franchise leagues. I was never denied a spot or removed from a team because they accused me of fixing matches. He also claims that my release from C9 was from the Abipower scandal and the chat logs being released. This is an example of misrepresenting the timeline to fit the narrative he wants. The chat logs released the day after the Abipower match happened. I was released from Cloud9 9 months after that match, purely off performance and team fit alone. The video then gives examples of teams like Misfits and Complexity saying I was the first to get replaced.
As soon as the team would start to play poorly, ShahZaM would be one of the first players to be dropped. Nobody exactly wanted him on their team, so at the first time to do so, they would always drop him.
That's just outright not true. And it can be as easy as just looking up the roster history of these teams to see that. It's clear from the rearranging of the timeline of events that Timmy made this video in bad faith. He demonstrates an ignorant mishandling of the facts to push a narrative that he made up. It amazes me. He speaks on such authority of my career while knowing so little about the scene. Regarding what he said about my character and likability in the video, he showed clips from one person I called out for being weird to women in Valorant.
ShahZaM will literally say, ShahZaM is like the biggest, the guy stirrer of all time.
And another person that started beefing with me over my longtime teammate and friend's mental health crisis, while also quoting the things I said in an Indian accent.
You can't tell anyone, please. I trust you.
Finally, I wanted to address Timmy's claim that I react poorly to criticism. I can acknowledge at times I have overreacted to comments and critique, which has contributed to an unfortunate portrayal of myself in the community. I also acknowledge that DMCA striking content, no matter how it's portrayed, is not a productive way to go about addressing the criticism. There are many things that, in retrospect, I wish I had not reacted to or entertained at all. That being said, while there is valid criticism, it feels like a lot of the negative feedback is hate masked as criticism. That's a topic I want to talk about in a later video. I want to focus on the accusations at hand. To conclude, I'm here to set the record straight. If you continue to dislike me after this video, that's fine. All I ask is that you honestly engage with the facts and form an opinion of your own. Don't let bad faith actors like Timmy or Retake tell you how to think and feel. Thanks, guys.